All right, settle in, because we are taking a deep dive today into a sweet treat that might just surprise you. We're talking about Japanese sweet potato tarts.
Yeah.
On the surface, they seem simple, maybe even a little familiar, but trust me, there's definitely more to them than meets the eye.
Yeah, there really is.
Our deep dive material today comes from, well, it's a collection of writings and
Yeah.
notes focused specifically on this particular confection.
Right. And our mission, if you like, is to extract the truly important nuggets of knowledge from all of this, going way beyond just, it tastes good, to really understand its surprising history and its fascinating place in Japanese culture.
Exactly. And I think the very first thing that stands out, it's about where the sweet potato tart actually originated. It might not be the place you'd first think of when you hear the word tart. Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
So, right away, the big surprise we found in the material is that despite having a name like tart, which sounds so distinctly Western,
Uh-huh.
this sweet potato tart actually originated in Japan.
That's really interesting, isn't it? The history, it dates back quite a ways, actually, to the Meiji period, specifically around 1887, the sources say.
1887, wow.
Yeah. And the very early form of the sweet was quite simple. Basically, just cooked sweet potato mixed with chicken eggs and sugar. And it was actually served right there in the sweet potato skin.
Wow, served in the skin. That's unexpected right from the start. Did the material mention why they started that way? Or just,
Well, it seems to tie into a Japanese aesthetic we can maybe touch on later, utilizing natural forms. But yes, it definitely evolved. It changed over time to the form we're more familiar with today. Those small baked pieces, often finished with an egg yolk glaze brushed over the surface before baking.
okay, that makes more sense visually perhaps. So it started very rustic, right in the potato, and evolved into that neat baked form.
Exactly. And while detailed records about the exact inventor or location are a bit sparse, the prevailing theory mentioned in the sources is that a confectioner in Tokyo developed it.
Ah, Tokyo, okay.
Yeah. They seem to have combined incoming Western confectionery ingredients and techniques, things like butter and milk, which become key later,
Right, the Western element.
with sweet potatoes, which were, of course, a very common food in Japan at the time. A staple?
So taking a local staple and applying these new incoming Western methods, it's a fusion right from the beginning then.
Precisely. And interestingly, while they existed earlier, these sweet potato tarts really became established nationwide after World War II.
Oh, that late.
Relatively speaking, yeah, for nationwide popularity, that's when famous confectionery stores in different regions started selling them, popularizing the treat across the country.
Huh. So you have this treat that uses a Western-sounding name, maybe some Western ingredients,
Yeah.
but its birthplace is firmly Japan, blending those worlds. That really flips the script on what you might expect, doesn't it?
It really does. And the sweet potato itself? Well, it's absolutely central to the unique identity of this tart. The sources really highlight that the specific type of sweet potato used makes a huge difference.
Okay, I can see that. Not all potatoes are created equal.
Not at all. When you look at sweet potatoes globally, you find these regional differences. Japanese and East Asian sweet potatoes, typically yellow. Those from Central and South America or the US are often orange. And interestingly, our source includes descriptions by Japanese people noting they can be sticky and watery like a pumpkin, or even fibrous carrots, often less sweet than Japanese varieties.
Fibrous carrots, that's
Yeah.
quite a description.
It is. Meanwhile, varieties from the South Pacific and Southeast Asia tend to be purple.
Right. So color's one thing, but what about the taste? The sweetness?
Ah, yes, the sweetness levels. They're really distinct. The source provides some pretty specific data points for Japanese varieties, like quick sweet, which can reach levels around 16 degrees Brix raw, that's the sugar measure, and a remarkable 38 degrees Brix cooked.
38. Cooked, that's wild, just naturally.
Pretty much, yeah. Another common one, Bundazuma, is also very sweet, around 14 degrees raw and maybe 30 degrees cooked.
It sounds like Japanese breeding efforts have really focused on increasing that natural sweetness and developing different textures then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The source talks about achieving both hoku hoku, which is kind of flaky or fluffy,
Right, that texture.
and sticky textures, leading to baked sweet potatoes being popular year-round, not just, an autumn thing.
Exactly right. And that incredibly high natural sugar content, especially after cooking, it changes the entire pastry equation for the tart. By using these uniquely high sugar Japanese sweet potatoes, confectioners can achieve this natural sweetness. It provides a depth and complexity that's just hard to replicate with added sugar alone.
Ah, okay.
This is fundamental to the Japanese sweet potato tart's distinctive flavor and texture.
So given its unique origin and that really special ingredient, what does the material say makes people love these tarts so much? What's the core appeal?
It really boils down to that blend we talked about, I think. Three main things stand out in the sources. First, it's this Japanese originated Western style sweet. Second, it leverages the unique qualities of Japanese sweet potatoes. And third, it's constantly evolving.
That Western-style Japanese confectionery label is key, isn't it? It's a true fusion.
It really is. It incorporates Western ingredients like butter and milk and baking techniques, but it also deeply draws on Japanese confectionery methods and a distinct aesthetic sensibility.
And the Japanese influences are pretty clear if you look closely at how they're made and presented, right? Like you mentioned, using the sweet potato skin as an early vessel.
Exactly. That technique of hollowing out a natural form and filling it, it's very similar to traditional Japanese sweets, things like yuzumochi or kakiokan, where fruit is used as the container. It reflects that Japanese aesthetic sense of utilizing natural shapes and presenting food beautifully.
Interesting connection.
And the emphasis on color and appearance is also very much from the wagashi tradition Japanese confectionery aesthetics. The vibrant yellow of the sweet potato flesh and that appealing golden brown on the surface when baked. It aligns with the traditional focus on expressing seasons and the colors of nature.
Right, the visual appeal, but
Mhm.
you mentioned it's also evolving. It's not just these traditional shops sticking to one recipe.
Absolutely not. The material points out it's moved far beyond just traditional confectionery stores. Convenience stores, major food manufacturers, they now produce all sorts of variations.
Like what?
Well, you see things like cool and sweet chilled baked sweet potato, specifically for summer enjoyment. Sweet potato pies, obviously. Or small, easy to eat sweet potato yokin, that's a type of jelly. There are many modern arrangements in shape, texture, and even flavor profiles.
It keeps changing.
Yeah, and the existence of events like the Omumo Expo.
Oima Expo, like a sweet potato expo.
Exactly. It celebrates sweet potatoes and all their products, from traditional baked potatoes to these more advanced sweets like the tarts. It really shows how dynamic sweet potato culture is in Japan, and the tart is a big part of that.
Okay, so it's this dynamic sweet that respects its historical roots and traditional aesthetic principles while constantly embracing modern trends. It's becoming more accessible and varied.
Perfectly put. And how you enjoy the street is actually part of his appeal, too. The sources give some great tips for maximizing the experience.
Oh, like how to eat it best.
Yeah. And one fascinating aspect is how temperature completely changes the flavor and texture.
Really?
Definitely. When it's warm or freshly baked, it's moist, flaky, and that rich, buttery flavor really comes forward. The source even gives reheating times for store-bought tarts, about 5 minutes in a toaster oven, or maybe 1 minute in the microwave to bring back that fresh baked feel.
Handy tip. Okay, so warm is one way.
But then, if you refrigerate or chill it, the sweetness becomes milder, the flavor is lighter, and it's surprisingly refreshing, actually, especially in warmer weather.
Chilled sweet potato tart. I hadn't thought of that.
And here's one that sounds really intriguing. Try it half frozen and half thawed.
Half frozen.
Yeah. The source describes this as creating a totally new taste sensation, like a moist and rich sweet potato ice cream.
Whoa. Okay, that is different. That versatility based on temperature, it's highlighted as a uniquely Japanese way to enjoy sweet potatoes in general, and these tarts in particular.
It seems so, yes.
And then there's the classic pairing that came up, vanilla ice cream.
Ah, yes, the classic combo. The material describes putting cold vanilla ice cream on a warm tart. The contrast in temperature sounds exquisite, doesn't it? And the flavor combination is just perfect.
Yeah, warm tart, cold ice cream. I can picture that. It transforms it into something more luxurious, almost like a parfait dessert.
It does, and you can even add crushed sweet potato kenpi on top.
Kempi, what are those?
Oh, they're those crispy, fried, often sugar-coated sweet potato sticks. Adds a great crunchy texture contrast.
Ooh, nice. Crunch is good.
And the source even mentions a popular home recipe idea, simply mixing mashed sweet potatoes with vanilla ice cream to create an easy version of that rich, creamy sweet potato tart filling.
Huh, a little shortcut. Nice.
But beyond just how you eat it at home, there's this whole eating and souvenir culture, the sources discuss.
Souvenir culture.
Yeah, sweet potato tart specialty stores are common across different regions in Japan. It makes them a really popular treat for tourists to enjoy right there or, take home as a gift.
Ah, like regional specialties.
Exactly. The source gives some great examples. There's Orimoya-san Kushin in Tokyo's Asakusa district, famous for its cute, round shape, apparently very popular with tourists. And because they're actually a sweet potato wholesaler, they're known for using really high-quality ingredients like butter and milk.
Quality ingredients make a difference.
For sure. Then, in Ishikawa Prefecture, tarts made with the local Goroshima Kintoki sweet potatoes, often with a pie crust, are a huge hit, selling over 90,000 annually, the source says, and popular even with foreign tourists.
90,000, wow.
Yeah. And there's that great little anecdote about the royal brand tart at Fukuoka Airport. It became a famous souvenir, basically, just because airline staff loved it so much and started buying it in bulk. Word got around.
That's fantastic. So this regional variety and the role the tart plays in souvenir culture,
Yeah.
it's another unique Japanese way to engage with and share this sweet potato treat.
It really shows how integrated it is.
And if you can't make it to Tokyo or Ishikawa right away,
Yeah.
we did find some mention that you might be able to find online.
Yes. The source notes that some products, like specific brands maybe, kiln roasted potatoes, aged sweet potato benehuka, and items from a place called Kuazukuri Honpo have apparently been available through platforms like Amazon at times, so accessibility is growing.
Good to know. Okay, so looking back at this deep dive,
Yeah.
we've really uncovered the surprising truth, haven't we? This delicious sweet potato tart, despite its name, is a Japanese original. Born from blending Western techniques with local ingredients way back in the Meiji era, we've learned how the unique natural sweetness and texture of Japanese sweet potatoes are absolutely fundamental to its distinctive flavor. You really need those potatoes.
It seems crucial, yes.
We've seen how it beautifully combines Japanese aesthetics and tradition with constant modern evolution, showing up in convenience stores and expos now.
Right. That dynamic quality.
And we've explored the versatile ways it's enjoyed, from changing the temperature, pairing it with ice cream, to its important role in regional eating and souvenir culture.
Yeah, what's fascinating here, I think, is how a common, humble ingredient like the sweet potato, through cultural exchange and local innovation, can be transformed into something so uniquely local, blending techniques and traditions from different places to create this distinctive national sweet with such a rich story behind it.
Absolutely. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Huh?
Next time you encounter a familiar-sounding food name, especially one that seems to blend traditions,
Yeah.
you might find yourself wondering about its real journey. What local ingredients and aesthetics truly shaped it? What stands out to you from this deep dive?